Carl, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. The betrayer, of course. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. First things first, how are you both doing? And has 2023 been treating you well so far?
You want to start, Kyle?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I still have all my bones. I still have all my teeth. My face is still attached to my face. So yeah, let's call 2023 a win so far. I'm good.
Yeah, no major incidents. Music is happening. We actually did change practice room, so that was a thing. We moved around, and nothing got broken in the process. So that's a positive. I'm going to take that.
Considering how the last few years have been worldwide, we'll take any momentary lapse of peace and the joy and positives that can happen at this stage. It's going smoothly so far. What about New Year's resolutions? Are you those types of people, both personally and professionally? Got anything?
I made one which was basically, I've been doing it too much my whole life. I really have to stop it. And so this resolution this year was to care less.
Do less.
Oh.
I break all my resolutions too, so I'm going to break this one.
Is that like on a more professional level though, the careless part?
Yeah.
Not with the band though, like everything else. He's not allowed to care less about the band. He's
let's say that.
What about you, Chris?
Resolution? I had one resolution once and I stopped smoking and that worked. So that was pretty okay. But apart from that, this year professionally, we gotta release this album.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. More album, more stage time, more of that.
Listen, as an ex-smoker, that's incredible you did it. It is, I can attest, isn't it? It can be incredibly difficult. So congratulations on that. And of course, yes, I was going to ask the question, what's got you excited about the year ahead? But I think we are going to be talking about this specific album, aren't we?
It's worth talking about.
Is that
it might have been
exciting thing for you at the moment, focusing all the
yeah, for sure. It's an ambitious project. Maybe it was too ambitious considering the pandemic and all that stuff we had going on, but we wanted to we thought to ourselves, we want to make our debut album be something fun, spectacular, memorable, and probably we had in mind to make a big thing. It's supposed to be one of those concept albums where everything hooks together with a story, and we've started that, but it takes more time than just an EP. So that's what it is.
I'm going to pick your brains about that part in a moment, but before we get that, I guess at this stage, what I want to know is what's the latest news around it that you can actually share? We're talking about Storm Vic here. Can you share or talk about potential release dates for sure, or where you're at right now with it?
We have set a release window for mid-July with the PR team and everything like that. So we're working very hard towards that. We've got most of the album recorded by now. We're waiting for some parts back from both guitarists and the bassist, wherever he might be. Other than that, we're well on our way. We have over half the album done, and we're just sort of tweaking it up, smaller parts, and getting stuff ready for mixing and mastering. And just we've been working very hard recently. So the release date is mid-July. We've just released a single, Slaughterhouse.
You might have heard it.
You may have heard it, may have seen it.
Maybe.
It was very, very horrible. We're working on a second single to come out before the release of the album as well. So
fantastic. It's more than I expected. I thought you were going to tell me we can't say much about it at the moment and move on from there.
That's this way we're like bound by our words, and they're like, oh, you know what, we told Carl we're going to finish this thing, so now we got to do it. We don't have a choice now.
Yeah.
But of course, it is a concept album, part one of a two-part concept, which you said yourself, and I agree, I did some reading, mighty ambitious stuff here. So I want you to talk to me about this concept, but specifically where the vision for it was born from.
Ooh, where the vision was born, that's a tough one. But I could say we're all all of us quite were quite taken by the sort of Cthulhian lore, you know, the Lovecraftian universe, all that. So this is it's a universe we like. I've played role-playing games, you know, pen and paper. I played the Call of Cthulhu back in the day, you know. So to me, it's like I like the whole universe of it, and it felt like the music was we were writing. It had that kind of spirit going into it, you know. So it felt like drawn to write about it, and it sort of came out of there. And then we started storytelling in my head. What are we going to do? We got to find a thing, a place, and we're like, let's make it Nordic. And I went through the sort of the literature to find something connecting it, and I did find some lore that was connected to Scandinavia, and made it fun. And then I thought of this city where this is all based in, which is like this valley, which is an incredible place. It's like a really deep valley as a city, like in the end of it, and it's just mountains all over the place. And they used to have no sunshine for like months and months because the mountains were so high, and this is a bit up north. So it's like it has all like the things, mines, shafts. They got like a production of heavy water during the Second World War. All these things that were just perfect. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things going on in there.
It's incredibly detailed, but I have to ask them, was it always clear cut just what you wanted to achieve here? Or has it been shaped over time by events and situations that have occurred in real life?
Well, I would say mixture of both, because we started writing the second album after we released the first one, but then we're a band that works kind of slow, and we like to work things out in songs live on stage. And of course, the pandemic hit. And we were in Oslo, the rules were really strict, and we actually couldn't get together in a rehearsal room for 18 months, let alone going on stage to work out the songs and stuff like that. So we were held back a lot by that. And we tend to work better when we're in a room together doing all this stuff. We did try it over Zoom, and we tried a whole lot of times, but it just didn't come together well. So we were held back by that. So I think during that time, Chris came up with this idea of like the whole Cthulhu Lovecraftian story after his experiences and reading about it and playing with it and all this stuff. While we had the songs written, and we didn't have like a certain theme for the songs or the next EP or the next album. So we were like, well, let's smush the two together. We've got all these songs that we've written. We need to record them. Chris, put some lyrics to it. And he was like, Lovecraft.
Well, a few came out. After, because we had like a few that were already written, and then we sort of the story started to take shape, and then we're like, oh, now we need this kind of song. Like the one of the last ones we're working on is a dark, heavy sort of reveal of what's hiding underneath the cover, which is the whole Lovecraftian lore thing, that behind the normality of our days, there's this madness awaiting. And this song we're going to work on now, it's like peeking into it sort of, and we're setting things up for a massively heavy and dark album.
Yeah.
There might be some lighter tones, obviously, but now we're like, okay, now we need to have this sort of song. We need to put this spirit back in there. We have like the introduction of our protagonist. That's the song that took shape afterwards, once we had sort of the mindset, and that's
Did you always envision it from the start to be a two-part story?
No. I think that's what I was saying. This is an ambitious project, and I think in the beginning we wanted to be like those classic massive albums, 2-disc albums with like part 1, part 2, and the same thing, 16 songs, what have you. But then we realized this is going to take forever. We just want to get music out,
It's going to take us 10 years to do a 16-track album.
How did that discussion go when you kind of realized the shape as it took, and what you realized the detail and the fact that it was a 2-part story, as it were? How did that conversation go?
That's an interesting question. Go, Kyle.
All right, yeah. Well, basically, I kind of lead the band mostly, and I realized all this stuff was coming together. And we have 2 songs that are 8 minutes long, and Chris has this epic story involved, and we're sat there going, okay, we've got 12 demos, and we have 4 more to write. And I was like, we are doing 2 EPs, guys, 6-track EPs that are going to be album length. And they were like, oh, really? Do we have to? We just did. But I was like, we're doing that. That's all we're doing. Please just work with me on this. And they were like, okay, Kyle.
Well, that lasted for a year. That conversation.
It did, yeah. That was a back and forth discussion for a long time.
It's hard for some of us to let go. And it was like, oh, but we want to do the whole full album. Come on, let's do it. You know.
Of course, we all want to, but it makes more sense this time around to go two parts of one story, shorter length each time.
I mean, they're not short anyway. They are actually album
track length only.
Yeah.
Do you think it would exist specifically as it is as well had the pandemic period happened? If things had been okay and normal, as it were, could it have existed, or is that just impossible to know at this stage?
I think it would have done to some extent been much the same, because we actually recorded the video. We shot that video in 2019 before the pandemic hit, and we had all of the costume and all the whole idea ready. So we had the idea secured. It just depends on which actual demos we included into it, because some have been written since the pandemic hit and stuff. So we things like that. But the structure of the album, the story was pretty much set before it hit. But it's just sort of a question of the actual songs that we used.
Was it easy though to go back? I mean, for example, using the video being shot such a long time ago and some songs and music already being existing, was it easy to go back and attach that to now? Particularly as musicians, you're evolving every day, you're changing, your tastes evolve, you learn new things and so on. Was it so straightforward just to go back and relive that past?
I mean, we've been working on it for so long. It's sort of like we didn't ever go away from it, even if we couldn't get together in a room. It was still always in our minds. So yeah, it was pretty easy. I mean, that single is probably one of the heavier songs on the album, but there are others that are as heavy or close to. So it's not like this is going to be the one song that's weird on the album. The rest are really light and, or we've got loads of synths now, or, something like that. We've done our best to keep it all as one cohesive unit. So, but of course, new influences have popped in, but we've managed to keep it together pretty well, I think.
Yeah,
I hope.
And we're not that young anymore. We don't change that quickly anymore. We're set in our ways, and it's set in, not completely, but we.
I get the sense that you're as much excited about now getting to this stage and the release at some point this year, as much as the desire to just get it out as well, and potentially, I don't know, use the word move forward, but for want of a better word, move forward.
I think we're very happy to, because we know the next step is more of the same story, just with different songs, of course. Like the culmination of the story is going to come in the next one, so we're excited about that too. And we get to switch things up a bit more on that one. So we're definitely looking forward to that. I know our guitarist has some very clear ideas he wants to add into the next album, which is all good for us because we can work with that and explore different things, and probably not too far out when I'm going to start adding saxophone solos. But
yeah. And then there's also the truth that you can't stay silent for too long. It's not good for anybody to not release anything.
No, we did put that pandemic song out, Guys of the Infectious, a year or a year and a half ago, because we were like, we haven't done anything, we need to get something out. So we wrote that specifically just to say, hi, we're still alive. About the times as well. So that is separate from the album.
So do you think it's fair to say, kind of go back to the pandemic period, that you as a group, the Betrayer, you used the time as best as humanly possible and kind of got through it as unscathed as possible?
I mean, we did our best as we could. I mean, there are other bands that could get together and sit down and write and release an entire album. There are other bands that could do even less than us. So we did as best as we could as a group of people that write music together. So I think so.
So one of the things I've found really fascinating, and you've kind of got a description, described it a bit as well here, Chris, as well, but the synopsis for this album is extremely interesting. And in my head, I envisioned this almost being in different formats too. Is that something you've considered? For example, telling the story in comic book form, something that goes along with the album?
Oh, you're hitting the nail right on it. And it's square in the middle, man. We thought about it. We were like, what if we could get someone to draw it up and have it like in the CD cover, like a little comic book thing in there. And I mean, we haven't released it yet, and we have some time, but you know, everything has to be the things we want is not always what we can get, and you know, it takes time and talent and money, and of
course,
but it's definitely something to consider, because we're trying to tell the story through the music videos, and Kyle has amazing. I'm going to say, at least I think he's got amazing talent in producing videos.
Thank you very much.
So I think we at least get to tell the story of Stormvik through the music videos. So we're going to definitely make an attempt. We're going to drive over probably to the location that we're talking about in the songs, in the lore, and try to shoot there as well. So
that's actually in the stories, right, that Lovecraft wrote. It's yeah, so it's not like we're just making it up. It's like Lovecraft wrote about this location in the stories, and we're going there to shoot a video.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Cool as hell.
Yeah. So
because
that's the plan.
I mean, even I think a cursory bit of knowledge, most people know who H.P. Lovecraft is and have familiarity with Cthulhu in even in pop culture references. But if you're a bigger fan of it, you know, you kind of want that deep dive, and you're going to be hungry for it. I think listeners, you've talked about it a couple of times, let's go into it now. Listeners have had a taste in the form of Slaughterhouse, which is a banging song and has had a great reaction. It's one of the things I have noticed. Has that positive reaction given you more confidence in the regard how the full album might be received?
For me, yeah, definitely. Because I wrote that song a long time ago, and it was a demo for the band for a while, and we were like, okay, Chris put the lyrics to it, and then we were like, this is the single, and we shot the video, and then we waited for 3 years while the world calmed down a little bit, and then we released it, and everyone's been like, wow, that's great. And that's a video we did a while ago, and a song we did a while ago for this album, and it's really given me at least like a hell of a kick up the butt to get the rest of it done. So I'm really confident that people are going to like the rest of it.
It's hard for us to really, you know, get our nose up because we live so close to the music. We play it a lot. We develop it, and then we think about it. What have we released? We have our, you know, our album EP 7 that's a while back, and people haven't heard much of the other things unless people have come and see us live, and that's mostly in the Nordics. So it's fun to hear finally getting that new music out, reaching people, and then it's surprising them. That's been super fun. So it really is making us excited about the album and release, for sure.
Good. Why was Slaughterhouse the choice to release, though? Was it just because the fact that you had the video sitting there from 2019?
Well, we did choose it that long ago and had it ready to go, but then the pandemic hit. So it was like, oh, we have to put this on pause. So that's why we come up with it now. We did produce Guys of the Infectious just after the pandemic. We had that written and recorded mostly separately. We didn't break any rules, we swear, Norwegian police. And we had the video shot and done very quickly with a team of people that we were very grateful to work with. And so they made it happen very quickly, and we got it out. But then after that, it was like, okay, back to the album. We just wanted to tell the world, here, Slaughterhouse is the single. This is what we've already decided. The other songs weren't quite ready at the time. So yeah, no, now they are, but they weren't back then. So we'll just going with our original plan.
But I mean, there's also the point that it was location agnostic. Seeing as though we're going to be in a slaughterhouse, it gave us options to shoot it. So it was like the vision just popped into our heads. So we were like, this is how we're going to do it. And we sort of nailed it. It's good sometimes, just like a good idea that comes to you and you're like, you want to go and get at it. And then I think that's also what happened.
Well, the video is incredible. It's quite intense, to put it simply. And I have some cursory knowledge over how things go when you're not behind the camera. Was it as much fun as it looked?
Oh yeah, I was the guy in the whole get up with the mask and the costume and everything. I was stalking around behind the plastic and, you know, freaking everybody out. Any movement I could. It was so much fun to do. Yeah.
It was hilarious. And the fun note was that we shot this over several sessions and had to just leave the set in this big old garage, which was multi-purpose. So the owner gave us permission, obviously, to do this, but there were other users. So then we just thought in our heads, what would happen? They open up the garage and come into this, and it's, what is this going on? This sort of Dexter thing, you know? And that just makes us crack up. Yeah.
They'll just be like, oh, a heavy metal band was in, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
That was that fake blood. It's, you know, it's some over the counter thing from a like costume shop, and it leaves you orange for a while. It stains the skin. So I went orange for a while.
I'm excited to see what you've got in the works video wise going forward, particularly if that's what you were able to produce so many years ago. It already feels like a lifetime ago. So it'll be incredible to see what you guys got in the work. What other plans then do you currently have in place for 2023 that you can talk about, e.g. shows potentially, or anything else around that?
I think mainly we're going to try and get over to the UK at Bloodstock after either just before, or I can't remember exactly when it is, but around the album release. I know it's happening there, so we're going to try our best to do that. If not, we're just going to play as many shows as we can in and around Norway and the UK and everywhere we can.
Yeah.
And tell everybody we know that this album is coming out.
Yeah. Our band member of ours had an incident before Christmas as well. So it was important for him to recover. He's still recovering. So we're going to try to get back into getting, you know, in shape slowly but surely. Try a few, maybe some stream concerts, because we have the ability to do that in our new location. So
that's true.
That's definitely something we're going to try out. But then, you know, book some shows locally. We had a massive show planned actually in the last fall. We're going to play warm up for Ragnarok. We were going to, and Blood Red Throne as well. They were going to play in Trondheim, and we were part of this metal fest. But unfortunately, yeah, the health incident happened just a week before, and we were forced to cancel it. We're hungry to get back out there, so that's the plan.
Good, because of course, too many years of not really being able to do anything, and it is very important, as you've said yourselves. You've got to get your name on people's tongues again. You've got to get your sound into people's ears. It's a very difficult task to do in modern day. That aspect of things, the social media, the always on, the need and desire for listeners to hear you and receive you. Is that an aspect that you think you're good at, getting your name out there, and B, do you enjoy having to do all of that work?
I mean, for me, we're neither good at it nor do we enjoy it. I mean, we're not the oldest guys, but we come from a time when all this stuff wasn't really necessary, and it's kind of hard to get into. Like, I've got some friends that make music that are way younger, and they're just on all the time on TikTok and all this stuff, and I'm like, how do you have the time and the will to do this all the time? And I do my best, but it just it hits a limit for me. Like, okay, I've just talked to enough people today. That's it, you know.
Yeah, we share, me and Kyle pretty much share the whole sort of social media outspokenness of the band. So we do some streams on Twitch every now and again. We do talk about our band as much as we can. Usually play our own music and talk to people, get other streamers to play our music, because they know by playing us, we won't DMCA
we don't get them to,
them.
but they've approached us about it, and we've said, yes, you are allowed to play our music on stream. You're never going to get a DMCA strike or anything like this. And they get a free copy of the album they can play, and they send out links. So that's been good for us.
But it is tough. It is tough to sort of have that as an extra job. But I'd say as good as we can, we put ourselves out there for people to hear and see.
There's room for improvement.
There is room for
Definitely.
improvement.
There's always room for improvement,
Yeah.
guys. That's the thing. And even if you were experts at it today, in 6 months' time, the algorithm changes and you're back to
Yeah.
square one.
Exactly. There's never any guarantee anything's ever going to work.
Absolutely. The fact that you are on Twitch, even if it's occasionally, is one major thing that a lot of bands or artists either don't have the time for or just don't do, and that's already an incredible way to do it. What are, if you want to shout them out, what are your Twitch channels?
I'm just my name, Kyle Sevenoaks. I actually produce metal live on Twitch, usually with like chat people's input. They'll say, put something there. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then that's where the whole cowbell thing came from. Every song there's a goddamn cowbell, which I act like I hate, but I secretly love.
You do.
And Chris?
Yeah, I go by the Captain Coffee in one word.
You can't get enough of it, can you?
Yeah, I love coffee and metal. That's the guy.
Fantastic. Okay, what's a realistic goal then? A realistic goal that you would like to achieve in 2023?
Well, definitely not miss the album release. That's just want to nail that album release and get there content and happy that we've put together the best album ever, and that it's just, and we're revving to go for the next one. And we want to get back on those shows that we had, so we're definitely going to try to get those done, get those shows kick-started.
Yeah, sound like the same. Release the album, do more shows. That's the goal.
Yep, it's a simple goal, but it's more than achievable. I hope you do. Guys, before we wrap this up, we now do something called, or we started doing it as of today. In fact, you're the guinea pigs. What is a quick fire round of random questions?
Come on, bring it on.
This is basically quick fire random questions that we put into a generator, 10 of them, and you will be answering them if you don't mind. They can be nonsensical and they can be serious. Take it as you so choose, okay?
So how do we do this? We both answer them at the same time, or? Right.
Oh, well, you can take your turns. You can, whoever comes out first, really, because the first one's going to be immediately show you the level of nonsense that's in it. Do you believe in ghosts or aliens?
Yes.
I've seen them in movies, yeah.
Okay. Number 2, favorite horror movie?
Oh, that's a question. Jesus.
Come on, man.
I think the first one that sparks to mind, because it's the only one that actually freaks me out anymore, is Event Horizon.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
What's something that always brings a tear to your eye?
You know when you're slicing a lemon and it like goes in your eye? Yeah.
Oh man, I have no idea. Yeah, lemon.
Lemon.
Favorite holiday destination?
Oh, for me, it's Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's always warm.
I would say France, because I'm half French, so I'm sort of damaged that way.
Fantastic. Okay, one for the band. Best place you played?
Oh, best place we've played.
I would say there's a Tunsberg Metal Fest. That was
cool.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
That was good.
Yeah. Nice big stage.
Place.
Could stand way away from the other people. It was great.
Oh, fantastic.
Hometown of Simon. If you heard of those guys.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Awesome. What is the meal that you think you cook better than anyone else in the band?
Oh shit.
I'd have to say pork chow mein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. All right. I make a killer seashell soup.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Killer.
Expecting someone to just throw out pizza or something, but no, those are amazing dishes. Okay, earliest memory of playing a video game.
Woo! I played a game called Digger. It's like on a DOS based computer.
Wow.
So it's basically this, like, you just dig your way through like this thing to get to these little gold nuggets.
Don't remember that one. Mine is a game called Rick Dangerous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it goes back a long way.
This is where people start showing their ages.
Sorry, I'll put it away.
No, no, it's not too far from me. Okay. Weirdly enough, I think this might be easier than I expected, but name a book that has had a profound impact on you.
Mine's probably Mort by Terry Pratchett, to be honest. That is the first book I read by Terry Pratchett, and it's like I've always been a fan of the Grim Reaper and all this stuff. So I have a story that took him and put him into like a more personable shape. It was pretty, and it's really funny. So yeah, I think that one.
I switched to this mic to make sure that I could speak. I think I'm gonna go with. It's gonna be a dumb thing to say, but I'm gonna go with the Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
Can you mean epics?
That's really got me into the whole like lore of orcs and elves and that stuff. So that was it.
If we were scoring to the side of winner, which of course we're not, because that would be weird, you just won that outright there, Carl, because I happen to be a super fan of Terry Pratchett. In fact,
Hey!
my cat passed away now, was called Mort.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I had no idea.
Okay, favorite thing about being in I, the Betrayer?
I think my favorite thing is that I run the whole thing, but on stage I'm in the back. No one knows.
I don't know if my favorite thing is that I do all the running and all the carrying. No, this is like on the bucket list. It is high up there. A functioning band. We've not changed a single member since we started in 2014. We have fun. We know each other. We produce music we love. And it's a dream to be able to perform, to put our music out there. So for me, it's fantastic. It's definitely one of the things that makes me want to get up in the morning.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, then I have to throw the opposite one at you then. Least favorite thing about being an I, the Betrayer?
I would say probably being the one that runs it, but being on the back and stage.
Very good.
Yeah, I think Kyle has told me I'm like the only vocalist that carries or that actually.
He's a stereotype breaker. I'm not kidding. It's only because I tell him, if you don't carry this, we're muting your mic.
But there's a lot of. I mean, I get the whole roadie thing. That would be amazing. I wish we were at a level where we could like naturally have roadies. I think that's the worst about being a betrayer is just all the. I mean, if we were like a synth band, all we had to carry on was a stupid piano, a keyboard. But we're not. We have a lot of heavy equipment and a big EM box and everything. So I guess that's for me the worst part.
Fantastic. Well, it's I was about to say we've still got a little while to wait, but Storm Vic, we're looking at around, as you said, summertime. I think that's the best way to put it, right? Summertime. And I can't wait to hear the full thing. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Carl. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?